Okay, so I'll start with XRP. So now I'm going to zoom into the previous bottom pattern, because as I've been talking about for the last while, is it's been playing out. It's been playing out this pattern where you got the 3 days down. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days up. The 6th day it dropped, and so now here's the present one. So look, here's the 3 days down, and it took 2 days to get to the top, but then it floated sideways 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and then on the 7th day, look, it went one more time to test the top, and then it dropped. So this drop here seems like this drop here, and potentially we could be looking at this drop today, yeah, potentially. We still have to just map it out as we go along. But the fact is that it's playing out this pattern, same but different, but still playing it out. So we got this, and potentially we're heading for this today, yeah. So now, one of the things I was looking at is from this bottom here to this top. I put the fibs on. So basically from this bottom to the top. Now I'm going to map it down, so I'm putting the fib on from the top to the bottom, and you can see that we just completed this sideways on this fib. You can see it hit the 618, bounced to the 05, dropped to the 786, did one final lift to the 702, and then down it went, yeah. So now when we go to it here, I've less on this one. I can clear off all. Oh no, I won't. Sorry, I'm trying to get a clear shot of this. I'll go to this one. And what I mean is that I've got all my stuff on this, and the moment I put the fib on it, it's just harder to read, yeah. But we'll do it. So now I'm going to go from this bottom to this top, following the same procedure, yeah. Now this is a 1, 2, potentially 3, 4, 5, but this is the bottom. So I'm going to go from here. So now the fib from top to bottom to measure it down, yeah. So on this one, you can see that this drop already went to the 786. Okay, so there's the 0, there's the 786. It back tested to the 05, tested it a few times, and now we're getting the rejection down. So with regards this lift and this correction is a shallow 05 back test here would indicate, if this fails, that we're heading down for a lower low. So that's what it indicates, yeah. So it looks like we're going to get a spill here. So remember, we were looking at the daily here, and remember 3 down, 6 on this one, 7 days to get this, 6 to get this on the previous one, and now we have this drop here. So the question is that how deep is this drop going to go? And then it looks like there could be a back test for a couple of days, and then a drop down. It's just a matter of how far this goes, yeah. So now, if you look at how far this one went when it fully dropped, you see it went to the 1618, nearly the 1786. So quite a big drop, yeah. So if it continues to follow form, is if you look at the 1618 here, it's 19 cent, and the 1786 is 1690, yeah, which is a big drop. So now I'm going to tie that into, remember this chart here, the 6836, the final drop before the lift in this bull run, or bear market bottom to the pump. Same here, 67.46. So potentially 68.65 here, and I'll show you this blue line in a moment, yeah. So now when I look at this 60, let's say 67.5, and I go from the top here, because this is where you measure from the top here, and I come down to 67.5, 67.5. Again, you're breaking the 1618, but not touching the 1786. And we're looking at 18 cent or so. So again, that matches up. That matches up with this pattern here, yeah. So now this blue line is just to show you the history of it. This thick blue line here, as you can see, here's the bottom of the first bear market. Is this blue line touched it? It come up here, and you can see it played a support and resistance here. A final push down. It bottomed out here, and then you see when it broke this blue line again. This is the breakout. This is the breakout of the next bull run, yeah, of this bull run. So now here's this blue line again, and let's look at this blue line. We zoom in. And again, I'm going to put the fib here, or not the fib, the measure. And we bring it down to 60, there's 67, 67.50. And again, you can see that we're hitting this blue line around, again, 17 cent, 18 cent. Okay, so now you can see this blue line might play a role again in touching the bottom, yeah, of this bear market. Now, if it plays out the way it does, there is potentially a drop today, then 1, 2, 3, 4 days of sideways, where the fourth day it drops, you get another lift and another drop. So potentially another, what, 6 or 7 days. 6 or 7 days, if it plays out like that, if it plays out like that. I'm just looking at previous price action. I'm looking at the patterns, so it's the same but different at the moment, yeah. When I look at the MAs, okay. When I look at the MAs, and I'll go into this one for a moment. The 2-week turned, a bunch of them turned last night. So the 2-week turned. So you can see that this price action here, where we got up as far as 56, this got rejected by the 20 EMA and the 50 SMA here, yeah. But now look at what's happening. The 20 cross the 55 EMA here is, look at this solid rejection, and now look at the turn on the 5, and the 20s are breaking through. So on the 2-week, there's a solid push down, solid push down, and it is below the Bollinger. So when it breaks below the Bollinger and holds, there's a tendency for it to go to the bottom of the other Bollinger, so, or the bottom of the Bollinger, and that's at 25.72. Okay, so here's the weekly, which also turned, and again you can see a big push on the 5, and the 5 is the MA on the orange one is wicking through the 20 MA. So again, a lot of pressure down, yeah. At the bottom of the Bollinger here is only at 29.61, yeah. So you can see a lot of pressure, yeah. Also, you can see the boot forming here. See the boot, the heel, the ankle. Here's the arch a little bit. Sometimes it comes down like this. There's a ball. There's a big arch and a big ball. Anyway, if you don't know what the boot is, I'll tell you another time. The 6th day, you can see the 6th day turned as well. So now look at this. Look at the 5 crossing through the 20 here, yeah. And the 10 MA is turning down. The 20s are turning down. 20 EMA, 20 MA. So this is on the 6th day. So this is definitely putting on a lot of pressure. So the weeklies and the dailies are really starting to kick in. Now here's the 5 day. So look at the 5 day there. Look at the 5 breaking through here. Like that's solid pressure for the next 5 days. Here's the 4 day. Look at this, spilly So if you look at this on any timeline, you go, God, that's a serious bill. If you look at this is the 50 MA on the 4-day. Look how it's been resistance, and now you have the 5 smashing through it. So this is a lot of pressure. So the dailies are putting on a lot of pressure. Same with the 3-day. 3 days putting on a lot of pressure. Same with the 2-day. You can start to see the 10 starting to break has broke the 50. The EMAs have crossed over. So just a lot of pressure. And then here's the daily. Here's the daily, and you can see that this sideways here is, you can see how the 5 and 10 were playing out here in the VWAP. Now the 5 and 10, are working down, and the VWAP is pushing as well. Yeah, and again the 200 here was the resistance, and the fact that the 5 and 10 have broken the 200 MA in the daily is quite a big deal. The 20 EMA and the 20 MA are very close to breaking it as well. Yeah, so again they're big crossings to happen. You know. Okay, so let me now just move a little faster. Yeah, here's the 12-hour, and again Spilly is, I'll go to the 6-hour, same, 4-hour, again the 4-hour, the 5 is just coming down after this bit of sideways. I think it's setting off to go again. Now this is the 50 on the 4-hour. As you can see how much the 50 on the 4-hour, even the 20 on the 20 EMA, the white one, and then the 50 was holding this. So the fact that it's broken, the 5 is through, the 10 and 20s are coming through. So again, to me it looks like it's setting itself up for a big spill. Yeah. Okay, so let's zoom in just a little bit more. There's the 2-hour, and then there's the 1-hour. Yeah. So the 1-hour is the 5 and 10 have finally gotten into the same groove, breaking below the VWAP. So it looks like it's going to go. Yeah. So that's, you can see the whole process. Yeah. Now the one I'm going to be a bit cautious about is the stock. Just having a sip of coffee there. Is top left is the 5 minute. There's the 15. So coming back to the top, The half-hour is already back at the top, ready to go down. The hour is sort of halfway up. It could turn around and head down. Is now the 2-hour, the 3-hour. Oh, there's the 4-hour. Oh, that's the 12-hour. Yeah, I knew that wasn't right. There's the 4-hour bottoming out. So these 3 are bottoming out. So now these are going to need to reset themselves and get a bit of a breather at some point. So now two ways I'm thinking about this is, you've seen how heavy the weekly, the daily, the hourly MAs are coming down, yeah? So if something decides to really spill today, these guys can just get pulled down. They'll just get held down here, you know, and then if it does its bigger dump today, and then we get those couple of days of a breather, all these guys will get to have a reset for the next leg down, yeah? If it goes that way. But you can see that they're going to need it. So it take a lot of pressure to keep all these down for longer, and the pressure is there. But still, you got to be mindful that these guys are at the bottom, you know, and they can stay there for a while, but at some point they will need a breather, yeah. So now this is the 4-hour here, the one in the blue box. If I just flick through them, now there's the 6-hour. 6-hour still coming down, but getting to the bottom. There's the 8-hour coming down, so you can see all these guys are in. There's the 9-hour, all coming down solid now. Here's the 12-hour breaking back in. It's even the 18-hour. So now, that's those guys there, yeah. So I'm gonna zoom up through the days a little bit, because they're also in play. So here's the daily. Even though price action has been coming down, the stock on the daily keeps going up at the moment, yeah. So here's, it will turn. There's the 2-day. 2 days at the bottom, and again, it can be held there if there's a lot of pressure, yeah. One of the ones that is like, okay, what's going on here? The 3-day here, you can see how deep it is, and it's still pushing down. Yeah. So even this is like at some point this is going to have to take a breather, you know. But again, it's the 3-day, so things can drag on. Yeah, they can take time because look, there's the 4-day bottoming. Again, it can keep going. There's the 5, the 6. So you can see all the pressure that's being applied, and then here's the weekly. Here's the weekly. The weekly is properly taking the push down now. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm you got the weeklies and the dailies and the later hours in the day, putting an awful lot of pressure on. So I think the shorter term hours will be pushed further than they might normally go. So it's just being able to read the indicators based on the context of price action and where it is. Yeah. So I'm just mindful of that because normally I'd be screaming, this is going to turn, it's going to pump. Where I'm just a bit mindful that no, with the pressure coming down, this can be held a lot longer. So just I'm pointing that out because experience will the more times you see that, you'll get to know when to read it one way or another. Yeah. So now I'm showing you this chart because this is my big channels chart. This is where I put all the support and resistance lines on from the full history of XRP. Just to have them all here, and I'm always fascinated how price action moves into the spaces that of the lines that were already there a long time. Yeah. So the one I'm really going to point out to you now is the yellow line. If you look at all these yellow lines here, they're all parabolic moves. Every one of these, space between them is a parabolic move, ascending and descending. Yeah, they're big moves. So now we have price action after breaking below this yellow line, has back tested this yellow line and looks like it's going to start to head down. And even if it comes to this yellow line, this one down here, we're looking at about 22 and a half, 22 and a half or so. Yeah. Just if it wants to come onto that one. Yeah. So we'll see. And again, when you look at the history of it, is the one that just broke through and back tested is this line here. If you look at this is the last dump, and then here's the support for the pump of the first, actually the second bull run. Yeah. So now you see this here, this one wick down. Wouldn't it be funny if we got one more wick down to touch this line again? And it would only be the second time that price action will touch this line. And it takes 3 touches for a line to be properly confirmed. So you'd look at that line over when was that there? If it happens. 2017, 2022, 5 years is that line potentially just got touched twice. And you can't even say that line is confirmed because you want at least 3 touches before you say a line is confirmed. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Okay, so that's me for now. Yeah. If I zoom in, just have a quick look here. Actually, have a look here on the. So, yeah, potentially this looks like it could be ready to go. Yeah, if you were looking for a short, you're not in one. Potentially, is this drop here could be arranged that you might be able to get a short in. So possibly this might come up one last time and have a touch. I'm really not sure. If you're looking for a short, is potentially there could be a 702, possible 702 at 35.60 with a stop loss at 36 or so. Now the target is, to be honest, I have my target at 20 at the moment. I have my target at 20 cent at the moment. I'm in for the long one here. Yeah. Of course, I'm going to watch it when it comes down. I mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. What I'm looking for, with regards a little bit more of a confirmation of the bottom. Again, if this all goes, you know yourself, this is crypto, so this could all turn around and head up. If the market makers want to do that, I don't think it is, but if they wanted to, they could do it in a heartbeat. I just think the fundamentals at the moment are not so good. So this is what I'm watching for, to give me a better idea of where I take profit, because this could go to 25 and that's it. That could be done, yeah. So I'm watching for this drop. So I reckon this is going to happen. We're going to get a bit of a retrace here, and then what I'm looking for is two long candles. So when the first one happens, when you get this happening, I'll be looking to see if there's another one, and that when this starts to come down. So if this drops to 25 here, I'll be looking to see if it wants to do another trip down to anywhere between 22.5 and 20 or so, yeah. So that's what I'll be looking for. If this dropped to 22 and a half or so, well, then I'll be thinking potentially this is going to head down to 18 or so, bigger drop, yeah. Worst case scenario is I overstay my hand and it does a drop and it comes back up here and it does this and doesn't do another bottom, then I'll be looking to take profit here. So either way is if you look at these two guys here, if this is the bottom and it does a back test, and then just does this, I'll still get my profit in and around this range. But what I want to do is let it play out and see if it's going to still follow form. So this is still following form of same but different. So now we'll see. So that's what I'm looking for. So we can map that out as we go along. We can map that out as we go along. If you look at this here, the EMAs here, there was a back test. It was the daily, the 20 crossed the 55, and this triggered the spill, yeah. Where on this one here, is the daily crossover later, but it was the 12-hour. The 12-hour crossing triggered it, yeah. And now you can see that, again, you can see the rejection on the 20, and anyway. So I'm just waffling a little bit now. So you get what I'm looking for, yeah. If you're not in a short already, maybe that's an opportunity. If you are, good luck to you. If you wanted to look for a short target on a shorter time frame, is just to do it. Is if you look at this lift here, you put the fib on here. Okay, and if you look at the 786, if you look at this support line here of the arc, it looks like it's offering a potential target here of 33.60. So if you look at the fibs, that's potentially what it's offering. Yeah, 33.60 could be a 786 take profit. Yeah. So that's a possibility as well. But I think you would be mad. Personally, I think you'd be mad if you get a position. This is the sort of time to hold on to it. You can even see the EMAs here. The 20 came up and look, didn't break on the 4-hour. It got rejected and it turned down. VWAPs after smashing through them is I would hold off. I would wait. I would wait and see, wait for the bigger spill, and we can map it out as we go along. Yeah. Okay, so that's me. That's me for today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay. Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Are we still November? Yes, it's still November, so it's not happy December yet. Now, let's see where we are today. I was just telling Roy, we're still recording, right? This is still recording.
Yes.
Okay, super. So I was just telling Roy that the DXY is, now I've kept these levels the way they were on Friday. I just put 2 areas of support rather than 2 lines between level 1 and level 2. Level 3, I let it as it was on Friday with a straight line because it goes way back to 2016. So what I was telling Roy is, and what I told you guys on Friday too, it breaks the peak formation, the DXY, comes down. It may or may not reach the next leg, but in order to continue coming down after a leg down, it needs to retrace back to the 20 MA, which is not news to you because you know this is what we're following. This is a common retracement pattern on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour. It's normal for this to be the same on the day because it's the same pattern within different time frames. So we were looking on Friday at the previous peak back in March 2020, which was the pandemic, and here's where it broke the peak formation, came down. I'm a little bit unclear as to whether it reached the second leg. Maybe that was the second leg. Maybe this was the second leg. Usually the second leg is the longer one. That's between the second and the third. That's why I wanted to put it down here because it's a little bit more space. Anyways, what I was showing you, and because I've a lot to communicate today, so I'm gonna stop now and organize. So what I was telling you on Friday was we are gonna see something along these lines. So after a drop down, breaking the peak formation, which is what happened here. So we broke the peak formation level, and I put it as a level because I had it as a line. It was pierced way too often. I said, okay, I'll put it as a level, and it's that purple rectangle. It has to come back to either backtest the previous level, which is what crypto does. The DXY didn't do it here, but it did come up to test the 20 MA, which is the midline of the Bollinger. Interestingly enough, the midline of the Bollinger right now is where the previous level is, somewhere around here. So give it 2-3 days of a lift and it's gonna get there, which would give our crypto another leg down. So that would be the general context. And if I am to look at the stochastics and the RSIs, the daily has turned up. It's not yet back in the box, but the regular RSI is heading upwards. Again, I would be more certain of this trend upwards if I were to see 2 things on the daily. First, the stochastic getting back into the box because it has more strength once it's within normal ranges, and the regular RSI crossing the midline. When the regular RSI crosses the midline, the trend is more probable to continue the way it crossed it. If it crossed the midline upwards, it's gonna continue upwards. So that's what I would like to see for a little bit more strength. But even as is, I believe that the move of the DXY will continue upwards and the move of crypto will continue downwards. If I am to switch over to the 4 hour, the 4 hour is a little bit overextended in the stochastic. It shows a little bit of a push down, which would be okay. So what I'm saying is crypto is bound to come down. That's a 90% move in terms of certainty. That's how I see it. But we need a little bit of a breather. The DXY coming down for the next couple of hours would give the stochastic on the 4 hour a little bit more space, and it would give crypto a little bit more space too. You will see when we do our trade setup, which is going to be very simple because we are right now in breakout territory. We will be watching for those retraces to the upside, which are perfectly necessary in terms of breakouts, because that's when the high leverage is being liquidated. So it needs that volatility to be able to move down in higher percentages. Imagine a 10x, imagine a 100x or a 50x leverage catching one of those trades. It would be a fortune for whoever exchange platform or trading platform is hosting that to pay them. So those 100xers, those 50xers get liquidated in that volatility up and down. So that's what I anticipate us to have today. We're going to have a little bit of volatility up and down, mainly up because I think the 4 hour needs to catch a little bit of a breather, but for crypto and also for the DXY. But I believe we will continue downwards the end of today, mid-session New York, and then continuing into tomorrow. That's my timeline. I haven't been very precise or about timelines lately because we've done a lot of very small range sideways, but the lines of support and resistance that Bitcoin and Ethereum have been holding showed us exactly where we are. So even though the timeline might not be super accurate, the place where we are in the pattern is. So we know where we are. Okay, so long story short, for the DXY, just to put it in a nutshell, the day is going to continue its trend upwards. The 4 hour needs a little bit of a breather on the stochastic. So that might lead to a little bit of a breather to the upside for crypto in the coming 2 to 3 4 hour candles. And with the 4 hour and the 1 hour catching a little bit of a breather on the DXY and on the crypto, the trend downwards will continue for crypto and the trend upwards will continue for the DXY. That's what I believe will happen. I've yet to check the news for this week, but honestly, like the more I look at the news or what's about to come, they're great for volatility indicators, but the pattern is the pattern. The support and resistance is the support and resistance. It will play out as it does. So even if there is volatility around the particular news, unless the technical indicators tell us that we're breaking to the upside or to the downside, we're breaking previous lows or previous highs, we're not going anywhere. So what I'm saying is that I don't find the news to be too relevant in terms of the direction. I find it relevant to know when it's about to come out to anticipate the volatility, but the direction is given to me by the charts. The S&P. Now, we've talked about the DXY, which moves in an inverse correlation with crypto. The S&P moves in the same direction generally. Now, the S&P, let me change to the daily, because the daily is interesting. The S&P has been coming down the past week, and like, look how I just find this to be so remarkable in terms of patterns. The S&P has printed an almost identical to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin was last week. Let me just double check because I don't want to tell you. Yes, so where Bitcoin was last week, Monday, 6th of November, there we go. Look how similar the trend is. It's remarkable. I just want to check the timeline for the all-time high. So that was November 2021. For the S&P, that was December 2021. What do you know? So they're very similar, Bitcoin and the S&P, in terms of daily patterns. We have reached this wedge. We've broken. So Exit posted something in the general chat, but he does Elliott waves and it's hard to follow his interpretation. But what he was saying was that this looked like a start of a bull run. And yeah, this is exactly what Bitcoin looked like 2 weeks ago, before it broke down, before it did a I want to be precise here because the precision for this is very, very good for the drama. For the drama, we did a 25% drop in 2 days. So it looked all set, all the indicators, all the support on the daily was there for this to continue upwards. It's the same for the S&P. It looks like it's breaking out, but it's tested this line, it dropped back into it, and now it's above it. So it looks like it's back tested it. What I personally believe that it is testing it. The difference between a back test and a test, again, in the way I see it, it's testing to break it down. The stochastic on the daily has turned down. This is no easy feat. Like in this kind of uptrend, to have the stochastic breakdown on the daily, I wouldn't ignore that. It's to me is essential. Also, another thing to note about the S&P is the bearish divergence between these two peaks. So this we have an ascending, we have the price going up, an ascending trend, whereas on the stochastic we have a bearish divergence. So momentum is coming down. So not only do we have stochastic coming down on the daily, we also have a bearish divergence. It's not so clear in divergence here between these two. The regular RSI seems to not have that divergence. But the way it's testing this line, so it hasn't backtest. A backtest is when it bounces off it, like this one here. This was a backtest, breaks, backtest continues. Here is breaks down, and now it tries to continue. But we have to give this today and tomorrow to see what it does with this divergence line, and then what it does with this green divergence line. I believe it will continue down. The 4 hour is indicating downwards movement. So we have until New York opening for crypto to sort of like do a breather, and New York might continue with a more of a, when the futures market opens, with more of a push down, and that will give us another push down in crypto. Again, it might not be the big leg down to level 3 for Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it might be another step down towards that level, because we are going now into the territory of levels. Especially for Ethereum, we have that. We have an extra level. So, in a nutshell, for the S&P, the trend on the daily and on the 4 hourly is down, which means that the lift that we've done is complete, which means that, again, the S&P looks like it's going to push down, and that would be, again, supporting the trend for crypto to move down one more leg down. Now, we have for the S&P, again, I have to study this chart a little bit more in order to see the waves on the daily, the impulses and the corrections, because I don't know if this drop here will take us back to the same level or will take us a level lower. Again, to my mind, the S&P has another level to drop, and that would be in line with this descending channel that it is in. And once that level is complete, we're going to go into an accumulation period and start building up positions to lift up out of this descending wedge. So, having said that, you can hear it in my voice. I'm quite relieved to see the DXY and the S&P be in such clear correlation today and this week. It seems like they're both ready to go in the direction that I see Ethereum and Bitcoin going, which is stock market is about to go down, another leg down for Ethereum and Bitcoin, and the DXY is about to move up, which would support the drop in the different classes of assets. Now, let's see where we are for Bitcoin. I'm going to start with Bitcoin because it's the more simple one to check. I believe we have. I was looking at this earlier on today, and I was thinking, how do I interpret this? I love reading momentum and seeing how it reflects. So for the past 1, 2, 3, 4 days, we've moved down, but the momentum has been going up. So even if momentum has been going up, price action has been going down. I would read this as a bearish signal. And I believe it's a bearish signal. If I'm gonna flip over to the 12-hour, and the 12-hour RSI, stock RSI, sorry, is pushing down. The 8-hour RSI is pushing down. The 4-hour RSI has reached a bottom, but it hasn't yet bottomed out. It still has space to come down. So we still have space to move. I believe that the leader of this move is not the daily or the 12-hour. I believe that the leader of this move is the weekly. I believe that now we are in a weekly RSI reset. The likes of, if you're looking, I am in awe of how the RSI and the pattern here work together. The 3 steps down and the RSI, the stochastic RSI reset, work together. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm sorry about this. I was too caught up in the charts this morning to clean them. So here we have the RSI resetting. There it is. There it is at the first level down. Why do I have to? I think I cloned this by accident. So first peak formation, the weekly RSI resets. Second level down, there it is, the weekly RSI reset. Third level down, Bitcoin at 13K or Bitcoin at 10K or even lower, Bitcoin at between 9 and 8. Again, it could be somewhere around here. It is I know it's a big, this is a big percentage because it's from there to there. It's an X from a Bitcoin of 9K to a Bitcoin of 13K. We have another 30% drop. So I know it's a big reset. The indicator for us will be the reset of the weekly RSI. So the weekly RSI reset at level 1, the weekly RSI reset at level 2. What do we think is going to happen now? Obviously, it's going to reset at level 3. With the fundamentals that are going on right now, I don't believe there is any direction other than down. Now, going back to the daily, it is, so that's why I wanted you to see the magnitude of this move. So this is a weekly move rather than a daily move or a 12-hour move. The daily will be a good indicator to watch. The way we watch, for instance, the 15-minute when we're trading, the 1 hour, we're going to be watching the daily reset as we're looking at the weekly reset. This was Friday, I believe. I saw this as a 4-hour pattern. This has invalidated itself. This triangle is no longer valid because we have broken out and gone absolutely nowhere. I thought that would happen. I've seen Ethereum do that multiple times in the past. Bitcoin, not so much. Bitcoin has started doing a lot of very small range sideways consolidations lately. This whole 4 month, this whole 4 month, not 4 month, yes, 4 months, August, almost. So the whole of September, October, okay, end of August, this has been small range consolidation, absolutely unpleasant to be trading. So that triangle is no longer valid. Now we are in, again, if you want to put it in a 4-hour pattern, you could use this triangle, this bigger one. But personally, I wouldn't be using any sort of triangles right now. I would just be using the levels. I would just be using the daily levels the way we have them, the daily and the hourly levels, the way we have them established. Patterns right now are quite unnecessary because we will have this level here, which is the consolidation of this that we're following. And I know it's sometimes looks a little bit like it's uncanny supernatural precision. Look where this triangle, if we're to measure it, it's going to take us down to the target of this consolidation, which is the daily consolidation that we're watching. So 13,700 would be the target for this. So that would be the target. 13,900, 13,700, let's say 13,800 in the middle of these. That would be the target. But we don't really need this when we have this. That's what I'm trying to say. So when you have the higher level time frame target, follow that one because it's more likely to be hit than the smaller time frame target where we are right now. I'm going to remove this because I don't want to have it cluttering the charts. Okay. So now let's move into the 1 hour levels and see where we are there. Now on the 1 hour, this is the structure that we've had. I've added this red line as an intermediary line of support and resistance. I don't believe we need this. This is what I used this week. I used it this weekend because I wanted to see where is this going and how soon this is gonna break. We haven't yet had a mountain peak in this arc. So I'm looking at this and I'm reevaluating the anatomy of this arc. So this might have been a double top, this might have been a first drop, and this might have been mountain peak already. Or we might actually have a smaller arc. So this this would be, let me just put a triangle. So we might actually have two smaller size arcs forming here. Again, it's very hard to read because of the volume. Like, look at the volume, look at how the volume is acting. Look how small it is here, look how small it is here. We have various, like, couple of hours of increasing volume here and there. Is the same as it was here and here, which was absolute hell to read in terms of TA. Very, very small range swings, very hard to read, very small volume. But anyways, enough of the negative. What we do have is in these small ranges, because I do want to focus on the positive. It's not, it's actually, I'm happy I've realized this. No matter how small the swings are, there will still be levels of support and resistance. So in these small swings, what we do have is the probability of one support line breaking and movement continuing in the direction of that support or resistance line breaking. So if that resistance line broke down to the upside, to the downside, we're continuing down. If it happened the other way around, it's going to continue to the upside. So we might have two smaller arcs in terms of anatomy here, and I will remove this mountain peak because we don't need it. Now, what we have here is we have accumulation between these two lines, between the white line and the yellow line. So this is the range of accumulation. That's what I was telling you. The yellow line at the bottom broke. It broke and it back tested. Now it's not back into that range, and I don't think it's gonna go back into that range. The 20 EMA and the 55 EMA crossed down on the 1 hour. Bitcoin hasn't yet back tested the 20 EMA. ETH has. I believe it will at some point. So if we are to take only this target of the consolidation, so this would be our immediate target if you want to take your money and get out, and that would be a lower low at around 15,200. So that would be it. However, we are in a bigger consolidation range here. I don't think I need to put these triangles on anymore because I think you've seen what I mean. We are in a bigger consolidation, and you've seen it in that. This would be that bigger green triangle, and that would be the same target as the daily, somewhere around 14,400. But I would go as low as level 3, which is 14,200. So these would be the immediate levels on the hourly. So and that would be how I see the steps down. Now, this would be level 1, level 2, level 3. Generally in this kind of drops, so these are the measured moves targets. So what we actually have price action showing us it's consolidated here, and then what we have price action showing us it's consolidated here. So 2 levels down, and I'm giving you these levels down because you might want to take your money out, your profits out sooner rather than later, which is perfectly okay. Personally, in these kind of situations, I would be watching it and looking at it, how it breaks down, because it creates momentum. There's rarely, I have seen short trade targets be hit in this measured move way, as in, oh, we're only getting to 15,200, or we're only going to 14,400. I have seen coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum, both of them do that. No doubt about that. But what I'm looking at now is a bigger drop on the daily, led by the weekly stochastic momentum. So in terms of setting up your trades for today, I only have one trade to suggest. Watch for the 20 EMA backtest on the 1 hour. Now, it may come up to the 20, or it may come up to the 55. Both of them are great areas for backtests. If you want to put half of your position in on the 20 EMA and half of your position on the 55 EMA, that's one way of trading it. If you want to put a 702 at the backtest of the 20 and put a tight stop loss because you feel more comfortable having your capital protected, you can do that as well, absolutely. Or if you want to have your if you want to wait for the move to be finished and put a 702 if it comes up to the 55 EMA, that's another way of doing it. So first option is you split your capital into 2 and you put limit orders in. Second option is you wait for the backtest and you put 702s on either the 20 EMA or the 55 EMA, and then you follow it down. And these are the 2 measured targets. So the 2 measured targets that I have on the 1 hour is down to 15,200 and then 14K. These would be my 2 measured targets. If I am to look at traders' reality, from M2 down to M0, it would be 15,600. So the targets that I have there are not in confluence with the levels on the daily. Again, that happens. It doesn't mean that either of them is right or wrong. It's just that in this case, I wouldn't be trading the daily levels. I would be trading the back test and then following down, going with the trend for either these 2 targets, 14K, 15,200, or following it down to 13.8, or even down to 10,300. So this is what I would be following over the next week, because it is a weekly move, and I'm not getting caught in what the 15-minute is doing at the moment, even what the 1 hour is doing at the moment. The 1 hour is great for entries on the way down. That's why I'm watching the 1 hour, in case you're not in a short position. If you are in a short position, I wouldn't be closing it until it reaches the 14,000. That would be my minimum target for this. Again, if you want to take your profits earlier, that's up to you. I can't stress enough how important it is for you to make your decisions and accept them, because as traders, it's your decision, and if you are winning every single trade, you're winning. It's as simple as that. So there's nothing wrong with taking profits earlier, just as there's nothing wrong with waiting for the bigger move, as long as, of course, you are not waiting in vain, you know, hoping, oh yeah, I've seen some YouTubers. No, you've measured your targets, you have your daily levels, you have the RSIs to back up your decisions, you have the same 3 yeses that you use to go into a trade, you have them to keep a position open. Okay, super. Now, let's move on to Ethereum. Ethereum is a little bit trickier to analyze, because Ethereum has an intermediary level of 870. Yes, now I remember correctly. But it's still in a similar structure as Bitcoin. So it has this broadening wedge. It went up to the divergence line, got rejected, broke back into the wedge, and I believe that now the bottom of the wedge, the bottom line of the wedge, is going to be the target, somewhere around 570. Let's be more generous. I have a third level at 480 in confluence with the previous support and resistance back in August 2020. Give me a moment to have a little bit of a sip of coffee. Now, what do we have in terms of momentum on the daily? On the daily, we have the squiggles. So again, we have the same situation as for Bitcoin. Despite price action coming down, look at the stochastic going up. I'm like, where is this going? What is this doing? The weekly, however, is pushing down, and again, if we are to look historically back at how the weekly led this, it's very similar to Bitcoin's. It's a little bit different for the levels, because here this reset, but it did reset, yeah, down to here. So it reset here rather than here. But again, this, do you know what I'm gonna do? I was actually wrong about color coding. This is the pink line. This is the peak formation. I'll remove that one. So yeah, so this was the peak formation line, and here's where the weekly reset. Here is where, again, on the level 2, and right now we're again coming down to test the level 2 at 10,063. That's the line that I have here on the daily. But again, this may be a range. It's somewhere between 996, 10,063, with a maximum low of 880, let's say. Once we break 880, I believe we're going to do a long, big candle down. So it's going to be pretty much like a free fall, a very flash crash. I think that's it, flash crash the situation. So it's going to be very, very fast, very abrupt. On the 4-hour, we have, it's hard for me to check how many times we have back tested the 20, because it's really tricky. Like, look, it's basically like a string, like beads on a string along the 20 here at the bottom. It looks almost like a double bottom situation for the 4-hour. Could we see another lift up to the 20? Yes, I think we might actually see another lift up to the 55. Ethereum loves these very dramatic lifts up lately. It's had even on the 1-hour a lot more generous swings than Bitcoin. So while Bitcoin was doing 1% this weekend, Ethereum was doing about 3% this weekend. So a little bit more generous. But yeah, here we are with the 4-hour. It's hard to read the relationship that price action has with this 4-hour, because it's very, very close. To me, it is like one of these situations where it's really, really close to the 20 and then comes back down and does another leg down. But we have yet to see this 4-hour divergence line break. So I have this blue 4-hour arc, which seems to have completed. Double top, mountain peak, final bounce, final retrace, and here we are ready to break out. The 4-hour stochastic is at the bottom, but we have more space on all the other higher time frames. So we might see a lift. Again, Ethereum loves them. Ethereum loves to have a dramatic lift to the upside and then another drop down to the next level. Here we are on the 1 hour. That's like overall Ethereum is doing what Bitcoin is doing. It's just that it has an extra level with the 880 lower low. Ethereum hasn't yet made a lower low compared to the June low, which Bitcoin has. So it's one step behind. But when Ethereum goes, Ethereum will come crashing down. It's a very volatile coin, so it will catch up really, really quickly. Don't think that Ethereum is gonna go up because it's holding the June low. Again, to me, that would be madness to think that because we're holding the June low, we're gonna go up. No, we don't have any signs of reversal at the moment. There's no major support being held. You know, we seem to have like a double bottom structure on the 1 hour and the 4 hour, which may indicate a lift again back up to test the 55 on the 4 hour, 12,120, totally within range. Again, I know it's a bit like now for your mental health, I think it's better to hold a position open. I've held my XRP and Bitcoin positions open this week, and it's been a very peaceful, calm place because I know the trend is down, so I'm just watching them come down. I'm doing the TA and watching them come down. It's easier to hold a position open now than to watch for, first to trade the swings or to watch for entries. There are plenty of entries, no doubt about that, but it is a little bit more stressful if you're planning on entry, you know, your entry and planning to, for instance, DCA or have a 702. But there will be entries and we will still be within the same range. That's what I'm trying to say. Here we are in this sideways situation. We've been at the weekend. This triangle broke. We've come very, very close to hitting the target, which Ethereum does. I have seen this. This is the norm for Ethereum. It comes super close to hitting your target and then comes up, does a nice decent swing up. You would think it is reversing and then comes down and breaks your target, plus moves to the next level of support and resistance. Multiple times I've seen Ethereum do that, and I believe this is what's going to happen now. Now, sometimes it doesn't, the swing up is not as strong. I don't believe that with the fundamentals that we have these days, the swing up is going to be massive, but again, it is within our range. Now, this line, the 16, not 16, oh God, it's so hard with these numbers, 1167. So this yellow line here, this yellow line has been broken, but it hasn't been yet back tested. This could be considered a back test. If I am to, for instance, move this line, because there were two levels here. If I'm to move this line here, then yes, this has been back tested. But if I am to hold it here, where I feel is a little bit more of a resistance situation, it hasn't yet been back tested. Can it be back tested? Absolutely. It looks, at the moment, it looks like it wants to push down again before it back tests it. So, long story short, because there is the main idea that the trend is down. The second idea is that the trend down is not complete, and we are going to move lower. We are going to move lower for Ethereum and for Bitcoin. This is where I stand, and this is what I'm trading at the moment. Third idea is, if you're not in a short position, if you're looking to open a position, watch for the same 3 yeses as you would normally do. Watch for double top, watch for a back test of a 20 MA or EMA, watch for 702. You can use a stop loss if you want and protect your capital, and that would mean going in and out a little bit more, especially until it gets going. But also you could use a higher stop loss, and so that you follow down the trend. You can also separate your capital into two so that you DCA at a higher level if it decides to go up and test a 55 EMA on the 4 hour, for example. So that's where we are. In terms of trade setups, the only thing that I would set up with you today, which I have, is finding an entry for a short. So watch for the 20 and the 55 EMA being tested on the 1 hour. This is where I would be looking for a short. I would be watching for a 702 entry at that back test. Or put in a limit order, and if you want to separate the position into two, half for the 20, half for the 55, that would also be a good idea. But you can also watch for a 702 because it will give you that 702. Ethereum has been giving loads of 702s. It has done higher highs at times, like this was an evil spike, this was an evil spike, this was an evil spike, but after those evil spikes, you have your 702. You have your 702, and then it never gets challenged. So you have a beautiful 702 here, you have a beautiful 702 here, and then you have a beautiful 702 here that never get challenged. So you would have had 3 options to get into a 702 trade. That's it from me. Have a great day trading and have a great week trading. I'll post the back tests that I was telling you about, because they're the trade setups. We don't have any other regular trades this week, but going down to the next level on the daily. That's the structure that I see this forming. Other than that, let me know if you have any questions.